are a woman over 30 years old trying to get in the best shape of your life, you want to be more toned, you want to be more lean, this video is for you. I am a 3-time Olympian and now faith-based fitness coach helping other women get in incredible shape. And what I have learned over the years is that what you do as you age has to change. And what I did to qualify for my third Olympics at the age of 30 looked very different than when I was 21 qualifying for my first Olympics. And so I want to share some of the things I had to learn, some of the challenges I had to navigate, and some of the things that helped me become my most fittest self as I aged. So if that's something you want to learn more about, keep watching. Okay, so there are 3 things we're gonna go over today that have made such a difference. So the first point is that muscle is the real metabolism. As you age, especially in your 30s, your muscle is declining. You are losing muscle at a faster rate than when you were in your 20s or your teens. So what I've learned over the years is that it is so incredibly important to focus on building muscle and getting stronger and making sure you have that strength so that you can continue to push your body. Also, not only that, but your metabolism is going to shift as you age. And so having that muscle is going to make you burn more calories, and therefore that helps you become more lean. And so I didn't recognize this when I was younger because my metabolism was so fast and I could eat so much stuff. As you may know, as you age, it's easier to put on weight. And so as I started to see my body shift a bit in this whole process, I learned that I had to be intentional with how I built my strength. And that's something I want you guys to focus on is how much are you strength training? How much protein are you taking in a day so that your muscles can actually grow and you can see yourself increase that strength? Because once you start to do that, your body will start to adapt, you'll start to burn more calories at rest, and then you will start to see yourself lean out a lot easier than when you were younger. And so making these subtle changes to how you work out and what you're doing will make a huge difference for you. If you aren't already, I highly recommend incorporating a strength training program. There are many training splits that you can be doing, whether that is a 4 times a week, so you're training 2 days upper body, 2 days lower body, 3 days a week of full body training. You can do 5 days a week for different parts of your body. There are many different splits that can work, but just make sure you try one that works for your busy schedule and make sure you're doing that on a consistent basis, and this will help you out. I have done both full body training and upper and lower body training, and both have been incredibly helpful for me to see real progress. So it's not really about what you're doing, it's about having the plan and actually sticking to it and making sure your body is actually getting every muscle properly pushed, and that's going to make such a big difference for you. So that is something I want you to think about as you continue to progress, because muscle is the real metabolism. It's going to help you become so much more lean, and you're going to see your body transform the more you can focus on this. Also, while you're building this muscle, make sure you're not just trying to focus on cardio all the time. Cardio is great and it keeps you in a caloric deficit, but if you're always trying to have a sweat and you're always trying to be moving and pushing your body and having the HIIT workouts, then you're not going to see the real benefit of this muscle growth because you're going to be burning off that muscle. So yes, cardio is amazing and is good to be doing if you're trying to stay in a deficit, and also for your heart health, but you don't have to always be sweating in a workout, and you don't always have to feel like you're pushing it 24/7 in a way that's making you breathe heavy. Like, strength training and cardio are completely different things, okay? I don't want you to associate the two. So when you focus on it and look at it that way, you'll approach how you lift your weights differently. The next point is that consistency beats intensity and less is more. When I was younger, I was thrown into many sports. I was doing volleyball, I was doing basketball, I was trying out different things. I could do so much and it was good for me. But as I aged, the more I started to do and the more I would incorporate, the more my body would start to get achy, the more my muscles wouldn't feel as good. As you guys know, as you age, our joints just get a little bit less flexible. We start to feel a little bit more stiff. And so what I have learned is that focusing on the main thing and keeping the main thing is really going to make a difference for you on your journey. What does this look like? Finding a routine that works for you and sticking with it. And like I said earlier, not trying to chase the sweat every single time you work out. Honestly, just being consistent and actually sticking with the plan every single day is going to be better off for you than being intense randomly and then falling back off. Because what our bodies love, especially as we age and we enter our 30s, is consistency. It loves that structure. It loves that day-to-day, focus, and it loves being able to do the things that you're used to. And so when you start to involve so many different things, you will notice it. You will feel more sore a lot quicker. Recovery becomes a little bit harder as you age. So if you can focus on those main things, you will see real progress. So for you, that might look like incorporating more walks to be a little bit more gentle on your system. Like I said earlier, the strength training, having a certain amount of days you do this, just being consistent and don't always feel like you have to be super intense is going to be helpful. I remember when I was going through injury and I had to truly focus on making sure I could stay in shape before I returned to running. And what I did in that whole time period was I biked and I focused on rehab. And doing those two things got me to a point that I was still so fit that when I returned to running, I hadn't lost my fitness. So it's not about how much you're doing, it's about what you're doing and how consistent you are with it. And lastly, I want you to focus on structure over effort. Obviously, I want you to have the effort. I want to make sure you're doing things at a high intensity. However, if you don't have structure, you don't have anything. And so I want your number one focus to be having a structured plan, having something that you know you can do. Because here's the thing, you put in a lot of effort towards something you can't stay and that's not sustainable, then you're not gonna stick with it and you're not gonna actually see real results. Editing Cindy here. I just want to quickly clarify that effort is absolutely important when you're trying to change your body. However, if your effort is going into the wrong places, like you're not having any structure and you keep switching your workouts often, you will not see progress. So that's why I said that the structure is more important initially than effort. Now, once you have that structure set in place, effort becomes very necessary. So this is not me saying that effort is not important. I just want you to realize that if you keep switching workouts and you don't have structure that you stick with, you are not going to see the progress that you're looking for. All right, let's return. And so having a structure such as today is a day that I'm focusing on these specific muscles, and today is a day that we're going to work on this workout versus I'm going to put in a lot of effort towards doing a lot of random things is going to be key when you're in your 30s. What I focused on as I was training for my third Olympics was having a structured plan every single day that I followed with my coach that showed me, hey, I can do this and I can add more eventually and I can put in more effort eventually, but starting slow and starting to just master the basics is what got me to that high level. So if you're somebody who, you've been putting in a lot of effort in a lot of wrong areas, but you don't know what you're doing, that could be why you're not seeing the progress you want, is because you're kind of scattering your efforts towards the wrong stuff. I highly recommend focusing on the structure aspect of it and making sure you have a plan. If that's something that you're interested in, I work with women one-on-one and I help coach them have structured plans that actually work for their body types, actually work for where they are at in life. Not everybody has the same abilities. And what I've learned as an athlete is that each athlete and person needs an individual plan to succeed. So if you're somebody who's like, I've been trying the same thing over and over again and it's not working for me, I would love to work with you and share how I can help, because that might just be something where you just aren't doing the right things that work for you. There's ways to figure that out. So I hope this video helped and gave you some insight as to some of the things you can start doing to be in the best shape of your life in your 30s. Don't believe the lie that as you age, you can't be in great shape. You absolutely can. It's just a matter of doing the right things and focusing on what actually matters long term. So if this video helped you, make sure to subscribe for more. Comment down below something you're working on this year, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye for now.